This is Jay,
This is A,
and this is Moxicated.
where we drop the booze and walk through the reality of life alcohol-free.
So grab your favorite mock, get ready to laugh, and let's get Moxicated.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. How's it going?
And we are very excited today because we have a very special guest on this episode of Moxicated.
We do. We have Tatenda. He is the founder of Unhinged Sanity. You can find him all over social media, and we are so excited. Hey, T, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. How are you guys?
We are so good. We are so excited.
Yes.
We really have been searching for someone to kind of help bring the male perspective to Moxicated. And when we found your content, we were like, yes, this is
Yes.
perfect. Like from the first time that we saw your content and then everything that you have put out since, we're just feel like you are such an amazing human for sharing what you share, and you do so in like such a profound way. And we just want all of our listeners to find you.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
See, that's a hard question for me. Well, I mean, first things first, I wanted to say thank you for having me on here. I'm very grateful and very appreciative of you guys reaching out and having me to be on this podcast and speak my truth and just
Yes.
kind of positivity of in the sober community. So just thank you first and foremost. But
Yes.
um, a little bit about me. I mean, I'm just a kid from I'm just a kid that was born in Ohio, lived in Michigan. Um, Now I'm in England for a little bit. But no, so I am the founder and owner of Unhinged Sanity. It is a I started it as a clothing brand, but it kind of swayed, or it's more now a community, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, grew up in a small town. I'm a small town kid. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very introverted, extroverted,
Yep.
as you can. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't really know what to. That's really a hard question for me because it's like I don't know. I don't know how to respond to the tell me
Yeah.
about yourself because
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're so interesting, and so we will just pull it all out of you. I want to start with coming up with Unhinged Sanity and having it be like a clothing brand. Was this something that you started already in your sobriety, or is that kind of what helped the shift to community? And do you still make clothes?
I don't make clothes anymore. I mean, I kind of want to get back into it. It's crazy because this hat is actually one of my brands that I'm co-owner of.
Oh,
Um,
we love
because
it.
yeah, one of my friends he's very into fashion and designing and coming up with mock-ups and designing clothes and everything like that. Shout out Addison. Um, but he's the one that's really like has the real like the mindset behind the clothing design. So I kind of partnered with him on his brand at first. And then while I was working with him, I kind of got the idea of, yo, I kind of want to make like a clothing brand around sobriety and fitness.
Mm,
And so then I guess I actually started the page before I had that first initial thought, but it wasn't until like years and years later, and then until working with him, and then until some other things that kind of happened that made me lean more into the sobriety content that I'm really posting now.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the it wasn't. I don't know. It was just I started it as a brand because like I grew up as a skater kid and I love skateboarding and I love like the culture and like the aesthetic and the like the vibe around skateboarding, and I love skateboarding even to this day. But and I just loved how like uh Element, DC, Girl Incorporated, like I just loved all those brands. And I remember being a kid and I was like, oh, I want to create, that type of brand when I'm older. At some point, I want to create that brand.
Oh,
And then as I got older, of course, I kind of just forgot about it and just didn't do anything about it. And then I got sober, and then all those thoughts like ended up coming back to me of like, oh, like I remember I want to do this, I want to do that. I was into this, I was into that. So then I kind of just like was pondering on the name of what I should name it. And I really thought about what I should name it because I wanted to have the name be something that I can have it really short abbreviated. So Unhinged Sanity is abbreviation is US
Hmm.
or us. And I really like the abbreviation us because I kind of take that into looking at it as a community because it's us, everybody that in Unhinged Sanity or that likes Unhinged Sanity, it's us, it's all of us. It's not just me. It's not me at all. And that's the way I look at it because anybody that resonates with the page, that likes the page, it's us, it's
I
you.
love
It's not one person, it's us. So, and that's kind of why I wanted to think of the name to have that kind of abbreviation and
that.
to kind of get more deep into like really what Unhinged Sanity really is. I think what I think it really means is we as humans on this earth, we walk around life like things are normal. Like, we're just everything's okay. And when really it's not. I mean, most of the
Yeah.
time, most of the time it really can be for most people. It really can be just okay. It can be all right. But I know most times with a lot of people, it's not
Mm.
okay and dandy all the time. Everybody is going through something. And everybody's dealing with something that they don't tell people. So that's where the unhinged part comes in. And then walking around like things are normal, that's where the sanity part comes in. So we're
Mm.
all unhinged behind closed doors, but we're walking around like we're sane. And I
Yeah.
kind of put those just to kind of show like you know, there's a gray area, but also a comfort area to where we can actually talk about it. And that's unhinged sanity, that's US, and that's us. So that's kind of how I came up with the name. It took me a while to really come up with it because I really wanted to
Yeah.
have it mean something and have it be cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you did a perfect
Yeah, I
job.
was gonna say
It
too.
was funny because when we saw your logo before you signed on, I was like, us. And I was like, I wonder if that's intentional. So for you to answer that question was so awesome to like kind of hear that and hear what it was born from. I also think it is very, I'm always like into the stars connecting us, but you are talking to two girls who wore Element and had
Girl, all of
Osiris's.
it.
Girl Inc. was our favorite. Like, I never could skate, but dang, those were all of our favorite brands. And so I think that it is so cool. And such a really, I think, an experience that a lot of us have in sobriety is kind of coming back and connecting ourselves to like one of our original passions before we dove into the party scene or the drinking or whatever came after that, and kind of being like, this is where my passion lied before that, and rediscovering it in a new way. And that was such a beautiful story to hear. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes. No, I
That
have
was,
so
that
many
was
thoughts. I'm like, that's so cool. And two, I had a clothing line back in the day too. And so it's funny just to see like the trajectory of the like our creative brains and then also not being sober to sober and actually making things happen now as sober humans and like following through with our creativity and all of it. It's really cool to hear. I still have girl skateboards hanging in my living room, like with my children and everything. Like you literally were just speaking my language. We're like,
Yes.
okay, like, and you would
yeah.
never know that from your Instagram, like your Instagram and your content is so good. And honestly, you even explaining like yourself in that way that you just did, it's like, oh, no wonder. Like the content is awesome, it's great quality, like all of it. And so it just makes sense now, truly hearing that about you. So very cool.
Damn, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
really. It makes my day to hear people resonate and like it so much because I didn't grow up thinking or I didn't grow up having like attention or eyes on me and
Hmm.
having people. I mean, I had people like me, friends and family, but I didn't really have people, strangers at least, and to really look at me and be like, wow, like what you're doing is touching me and it's resonating with me, and so it's nice. It's nice to be able
Hmm.
to hear that from people. So it makes my day.
Well, and
So
I
thank you.
think that that touches back into like the layers of the community that you created because you are speaking to me a lot. I have talked about on this podcast how I have BPD, neurodivergent. And so, like, the walking around, acting like everything is fine, but, feeling unhinged, the duality in it. It's just so beautiful. And I think that when you are introverted, extrovert, you are looking for community, but it can also be hard because sometimes those are the places and the spaces where we were hurt or traumatized or whatever before. And so being able to create one of your own that kind of feels like your own space and your own family, I feel like for people that grew up the way that you described that I resonate with as well as like kind of always a goal. Like, I want to find a space where I feel seen, I feel validated in the work that I'm doing. And so, kudos to you for creating us because it just feels so cool.
I even got it tatted on me. So yes, I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yes. It also too reminds me of kind of like skateboard culture. It was always
Hmm.
kind of like about us and all of us. And so
And
I love,
unhinged.
yeah. And I love that that carries through. Hmm. If you would like to get into your sobriety journey and kind of what led you to making the decision to stop drinking and putting down the drink, as I know you get asked a lot. Why don't we get into it?
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I don't even know where to start, to be honest, when I hear that question. Even still, I've been asked this question so many times, and even then it's like I don't even know where to really start. But I'll say alcoholism, like it runs in my family, to be honest. And I remember growing up thinking, oh, I'm never gonna smoke, I'm never gonna drink, I'm never gonna do any of that. I'm never gonna do drugs. Like, nah, like because we're kids, we're innocent. We see the movies, we see people, we have uncles that that turn up, and we have family members and teenagers we've seen growing up doing crazy things, and we're like, oh, I'm never gonna be that way. I'm never gonna be that way. I remember always telling myself that, and then fast forward, I'm like 15, and I'm down in Grey Goose, for the first time, and I'm smoking weed, and I'm buying, joints and smoking blunts, and I'm vaping, and yeah. So yeah, I ended up doing drugs. I ended up drinking, but it just, I think that addictive personality trait just runs in my blood, to be honest, and in my
Hmm.
family. And I had my first drink when I was 15. Um, at the time it wasn't really, I didn't think about it much. It was like a first time type of thing. It was like, oh my God, like yeah, like I never drank before. I want to drink. And I was with a friend, and yeah, we drank, stumbled home, had a hangover the next day. I didn't drink again until maybe what, senior year. That was 15. How old was that? Sophomore year. Um, yeah, I didn't drink until maybe I was 18, 17, 18. So
Wow.
yeah, so I didn't drink because I was really, before I started really really drinking, I was a really 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 big smoker. Like I used to smoke weed all the time. But when I'd wake up, I'd smoke. Before I get in the shower, I'd smoke. Before I get dressed, I'd smoke. Before I leave, I'd smoke. I'd smoke in my car. I would do everything before school. I used to wake up early in high school. I used to wake up early and smoke behind the Anytime Fitness that we had on right by our school. And like, yeah, I'm 15, 16 years old and a sophomore in high school, just in first hour, fried. Like just like so
Hmm.
I used to smoke all the time. And I remember when like the switch like happened to like when I went from smoking to drinking. So that's, I mean, I think that's why too, I didn't really, it took me that long to drink again because I had my addiction with weed. So I was smoking all the time. But then
Yeah.
yeah, then I got into drinking, and then yeah, things just yeah amped up and progressively just got worse. Um, yeah, it's a lot of stories I can get into it. Um, but I remember I guess I can talk about when like the switch happened from when I used to smoke all the time and when I got to
Yeah.
drinking. So like yeah, I used to smoke all the time. Small town. It's big. It's I think smoking was big in my town. Um, but then I went away to college, uh, and then I was kind of like I've said before, I was like a little introverted, so I didn't really leave my dorm or apartment as much. I didn't really go out to meet people, so I would just stay in my house and just smoke all the time. And then I met a group of guys that I'm still friends with to this day. And then yeah, we just became friends. I wouldn't say they introduced me to drinking, but they definitely got me comfortable drinking again.
Hmm.
And then I started drinking with them. And then at the time, still, it wasn't really like, oh yeah, this is bad. Like it was like it started. It's my dad always said it starts off as fun, and yeah, like I said, like he says, like it started off as fun. It was fun, hanging out with them, being in college, and at the time, yeah, it was fun. And then I think it was still that it was 2019. I studied abroad in Paris for a month, and before I went, I used to smoke all the time. And when I went out there, I was like, oh yeah, like smoking in Paris, and smoking by the Eiffel Tower, like I'm definitely it's my bucket list. I gotta do that. So I went there thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna take these. I was studying photography. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures and be fried the whole time. It's gonna be great. And we went to the Eiffel Tower one night just to like hang out and be a tourist. And I remember, I don't know if you've ever been to Paris, but around the Eiffel Tower, they always try to sell you like beer, wine, souvenirs. Like it's a very touristy spot, so they always try to sell you things. So I was like, oh, so I asked one of the guys like that's selling stuff. I was like, oh, you guys got any weed to sell? Like, what's going on? He was like, oh yeah, wait right here. I'll be right back. I said, okay, okay. And then like 10, 15 minutes goes by, he comes back and he brings like a little a dime bag, like re- a really tiny amount, looked like really shitty brown weed. And I was like, he was like, yo, this will be 4 euros. I said, dude, no. I was like, can I cuss on here? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
Yes,
don't
Yeah,
of
cuss on here.
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm trying to stop cussing really, but it's just in, but yeah, he was like, oh, he brought a little dime bag of like some shit weed. And he was like, oh, this will be 40 euros. I'm like, dude, no, like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I'm not buying that. So I didn't end up buying the weed. And then wine over there is super cheap. You can get a bottle of wine for like 2 euros. So
Wow.
that's what I started doing. Every night we would go to they have shops like all everywhere down the street. You can go in there, buy a bottle of wine. The thing we used to do every single night is we'd go to a shop, we each get a bottle of wine, we each get like some sandwiches, and then we go to the Eiffel Tower and just get drunk. Bar hop, go to the pubs and everything. And then yeah, so that was every night.
Wow.
And that's when the switch happened because after I left Paris and I came back home, I started drinking more and more, and I never smoked. Every time I smoked after that, I used to always get really paranoid and just anxiety, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So
Hmm.
after I came back, I just drank. So that Paris trip is what really flipped the switch from
Wow.
me smoking and then to me just drinking. And then after that, I just yeah, everything went downhill. That was 2019. So yeah, I'll say that's when the switch happened for sure.
That's so wild too, because it's like, it just speaks to how much more available alcohol is and how much more it is like pushed and like, okay, like it's easy to just kind of like, if you do have whatever addiction to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to drink because it's 2 euros and it's everywhere. And then, the next thing you know, you're drinking wine every single night. And, I've always wondered what it's like to drink wine overseas because it just seems like, I don't know, it's with every meal and all the time and abundantly flowing. So when you came back, you were kind of, did you still drink wine?
I mean, I kind of drink everything to be honest.
Yeah.
Anything I could anything I could really get my hands on, I was like, yeah. Anything that was available, that was cheap, anything that I could find, really, I was just. But wine was one of my favorites for sure. I used to drink wine and cook a steak and just chill and watch a movie. That was like my favorite thing to do. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I used to drink almost every any and everything. Um, but to get back to what you said about uh drinking overseas. Like the culture, it's a different culture. Like when they drink overseas, like they like in Europe they drink to socialize. Like they don't in America we drink to black out and to forget.
Mm.
So like people in Europe, they that's one thing that I've learned like over here too is they really they take spending time with people like serious. Like their lunch breaks are 2 hours because they really they look at food and dinner and lunch to something to be enjoyed with like community and like their loved ones. So like things like drinking and food, like they really it's really just a social thing to them. And I mean,
Wow.
sure, yeah, sure, people have problems, but it's really like over here, it's really just a social thing to them. I mean, in the UK, it's different, but in the main EU, like it's really just a social thing. But that's one thing that I've learned with the with the cultural differences, I guess. Um, but yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. What was your question? I kind of went on
No,
a
no, that was perfect. It actually brought up another one because it makes me wonder, were when you were decided to stop drinking, were you overseas? And like it also made me think how cool it is for you to be able to experience a different type of alcohol culture as a sober person. And I'm sure it leads to like more reflection and just kind of understanding on our culture in America and kind of how we've decided to drink for all of our lives. So yes, where were you when you decided to stop drinking?
I was back home, back in Michigan.
Yeah.
So this 20, I got sober in 2023, January 2023. So yeah,
Yay.
it was way before after I came back. So yeah, I was back home in Michigan, and yeah, it was either life or death, to be honest, when I had to get
Mm,
sober. So,
yeah.
yeah, January 23rd, yeah, 23rd, 2023.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. 12323. It's a good number. I'm a numbers person. um, so did the content creating kind of was that something that was like a natural shift that came after your sobriety, or was it something that kind of I guess came after it? And the reason I'm asking that is because I know that Moxicated for Allie and I was born out of so many questions that we would get from so many people in our life because they were just so curious about not drinking alcohol anymore. And so I'm wondering kind of what pushed you to start creating content.
content creation was never actually, yeah. I mean, I was making content. I mean, not really, because I make music, or I used to make music. So back when I think it was 2020 when TikTok started to go up and all that, I started making content on there just about like making music and being in the studio and doing all that type of things. But content creation, I guess, was always kind of my thing. But the sobriety content, I never really, after I got sober, I never really thought about doing it, to be honest. I was just like, nah, like I'm not, I don't want to put my dirty laundry out there and have people not relate to it and not, look stupid.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing that. But so that's when like the brand thing came in. I think yeah, when I got sober in January 2023, and then in August I came up with Unhinged Sanity, but I didn't start posting and coming up with content until I think it was August 2024.
Oh,
So like almost
wow.
a year. It's like a year later. But because a lot of things happened in the time, so I came up with a name and I kind of didn't even know what to do with it. I was like, oh, I want to make a sobriety clothing brand, and then I had that was my first initial thought. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a clothing brand, a sober clothing brand, and then I didn't know kind of really where to go with that. I was just like, all right, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna figure it out at some point. And then it wasn't until I went on a date with this girl actually, and when you're dating and you're going out, and you getting trying to get close with somebody, you're opening up. That's the healthy thing to do. And so yeah, so we're talking, and she asked me, oh, like why don't you drink? And typically when people ask me that, I used to always just say, oh no, it's just a mindset thing. I'm trying to be more healthy. It's not good for me. Like I would just, give them a bullshit answer and just not really fully answer it honest and truthfully. But I really like this girl. So I was like, oh yeah, like I let everything just flew out, and I just told her damn near everything. And after I told her everything, like she was just kind of in shock and in awe, just like, wow, like you really lived a life, you should talk about this more.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I was just opening up. I didn't want, I was like, I didn't really want to start motivational speaking. I was like, nah, I just, I'm trying to get you to like me, I guess. So it's like, and then she was like, oh, like you should start talking about this with your brand. And I was like, I don't really want to be honest. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. She's like, no, I'm serious. I'm serious. You should do it. You should do it. So I was like, all right, I guess. So I still didn't force it at this point. And then so I was I posting videos after that? No, I posted I think my first video. Uh, I was working out at this local track that we have in my town, and I was just recording my workout. And then somebody that went to high school with my little brother was there working out too. And then my camera was still recording. And then we just had a conversation, and then things just got deep. And then we were talking about my drinking and like how things like got to where they was and how I got sober and things like that. And then yeah, it actually came out to be some really good content. And then I posted it, and then yeah, things just started going after that. And then yeah, I posted it, and then I just started kind of speaking motivation, I guess you could say, or just putting content out there on sobriety. And yeah, things just started going. And then the clothing, I did try and drop clothing too, like as things were going on, but I don't think the audience really liked that, to be honest. I mean, they like the clothes, but I've learned in this space, you know, to not really sell anything. And honestly, I don't really want to be honest. I just
Mm,
at this point, honestly, I don't even care to make money through my brand and through the page. I honestly don't even care. I mean, I have different goals to make money with social media and everything. So I'm gonna just pursue that. But with Unhinged Sanity and the brand, like I truly just want to help people and just
mm.
have people smile and be happy. And because when I was sober, or when I wanted to get sober, it was yeah, I wish I would have had somebody just or a page. I had a cousin that used to post sobriety content, but he was always like up and down and not really consistent. So like every time I would see his page and stuff like that, I would always, oh man, I want to get sober. I want to get sober. And then yeah, so I mean, I want to be that for people. So the money, I don't really care. Things just kind of flowed the way to what it is now. And then yeah, then I had a mentor or professor, you could say, that kind of not necessarily talked me out of making clothes, but he kind of just said that's not what the page is.
Mm.
And yeah, now we're here making content, sobriety content, and yeah, it was a lot of people putting in their 2 cents and factors that kind of pushed me and led me into where I am now, I guess you
Yeah.
could say.
I
Yeah.
am totally obsessed with the fact that like your whole brand, and I feel like from the beginning you wanted it to be fitness and sobriety, and like how this all came about was you were doing something fitness related and all of a sudden had this, like amazing sobriety conversation, and it just feels so aligned to set you up for exactly what you're supposed to do. I also love because I know that dating and sobriety is so hard and can be so intimidating. And so to be validated like that, like when you decided to open up, like my heart just like jumped in that moment because it's such a cool thing when you are so nervous and kind of like going into uncharted territories, opening up, and then to have someone be like, no, this is what you need to do. This is incredible. I'm sure that felt pretty good.
Oh, it did. I mean, things went well with her until it didn't. But no, I'm still, like we're still like we don't hate each other. Things are good, but no, I think I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I think we meet people for a reason.
Yeah.
Whether we know that reason today, tomorrow, next week, or in 2 years. I think nothing in life is on accident.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, we crossed paths and connected and got deep for a reason, and yeah, I believe that with almost everything and everybody in life. So yeah, I'm very thankful that it happened. I'm thankful for her. So yeah.
Yeah, we are too. Um, let's talk about your content because I know that the way that we found you was like one of the coolest, I guess most profound like posts. We obviously follow a lot of sober content and there are so many amazing sober content creators out there and we just love seeing all of it, but to see your perspective, um, and this video that Allie had sent to me, it says, everyone asks me why I stopped drinking, but nobody asks me why I started. And for us, that have been kind of like around and talking about sobriety for as long as we have, like that is not something that has ever crossed our minds either. And it was just something that stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is the most just incredible thing because how much more understanding and love could come from that first question, like why did you start, as opposed to what sometimes feels almost can feel judgmental as why did you stop?
Yeah. Because I also think too, it's like when you tell people you don't drink, they're either they're either super like kind of supportive and proud of you, like, oh my God, good for you. I want to stop drinking at some point too, or they're like, oh yeah, more for me. Or, like I've talked to, older people and like the older generation and, like friends, parents and things like that. And I've told him I don't drink. And then I remember I had a friend's dad tell me, he was like, oh yeah, you pussy, like more for me, you're a quitter. And I'm thinking like, and that's just how he is. I didn't really take it to heart. I was like, that's just how he is. And I was like, okay, yeah. But like those are the initial reactions that
Hmm.
people give to when you tell them you don't drink. They're like, oh yeah, like what? Wow, like or like, oh, I wish I could stop drinking. I'm proud of you, good for you. But I think to like you said, asking that question of why did you start can really it can kind of help that person understand like why you are the way you are. You can kind of just because even to this day, people ask me like, oh, like why did I stop? And I just tell them like I'm just super honest. I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I had a problem. That's why I stopped. It's like
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, okay. And it's just like, but they don't know like what really brought me to that point. So, and I think asking like, oh, why did you start drinking? Or like what led you to keep drinking? Or what led you to wanting to start? I think that can make conversations better and that can make the understanding of that person, you
Hmm.
know, feel more seen and, just make them feel like they're understood and like heard and seen and just to understand them. I think things will just go a whole lot better if you just ask the right questions because people don't ask the right questions. You know.
Totally.
Yes.
It's like the humanity of it all. It makes someone feel so human to be kind of asked that and it leads to connection. You said something that really kind of triggered my mind thoughts into, and I know I had mentioned it once before, but for us, we are these girls and pink shirts, and we talk to a lot of women and moms about sobriety and all of, the things that we as women get told, like, oh, are you pregnant or stuff like that when you're not drinking. But you brought up, to from the male perspective, I'm sure that there are other comments and like to be called, oh, like you're a pussy or whatever, like you're a quitter, you're giving up. I don't think that's something that as a woman someone would say to us. So it just like brought up a whole nother, different kind of battle that men that go sober have to kind of face. And I think that one of the biggest parts of sobriety is the vulnerability of it. And you do such a good job of showing like the strength and vulnerability, but it is walking against the grain. And so I'm sure you do get a lot of comments like that.
I think too, I mean, there are other men that are like sober, like content creators that are like pushing out great content as well. But I think what you have that's different is there is like an emotion side to it rather than just all facts. And I think that's where you stand apart from these other men in the sobriety community, just in the way that you aren't just saying the facts, which at least for the sober men that I follow, it's like doctors. It's not just a
Like
regular
stats and
person.
facts.
living life. And so I think that too is so powerful for you in that way. Just that, like, I'm a normal man. I'm not like, I'm not the head of some board that's like showing you the stats about alcoholism and all of that. And I think that that's why we don't see more men pushing content, because you really have to be vulnerable. You have to feel, you have to put yourself out there. And in sobriety, you don't see men doing that a lot. At least the men and husbands that I'm talking to and that are more forefront in our realm of moxicated, that type of sober man is far to reach, is if that makes sense. But yeah, I think everything that you've even said, like the connection, like you provide connection. Even the first day your page like came up on my Instagram, I literally sent it to Jesse like day of. I was like, dude, we gotta have him. Like, because I lurked you. I was looking at all of it. I'm like, no, all of these things are so important. And two, like, there's so many sober content like creators out there, but a lot of it is women, moms, very girl, trying to connect in that way. And yeah, we all niche down, but also like we're missing a huge part. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of men out there trying to find this path as well. And so I think that you are like the bridge to that. And so I think it's super cool what you're doing. And even talking to you, you can tell that like this is a passion project, and even hearing you say, it's not about the money. That's how Moxicated started. We were like, this is never going to be about money. If we help one person, that's what we're doing, And so it just goes to show, when you stop trying to like force something, it just happens, And so it's super cool. I'm so grateful that your page did come across, because even now, all the content that I do see, I'm like, God, how is your content not already in my face, And
Thank
so
you. Yeah.
it's really refreshing too to see a man being vulnerable and feeling, because too, in sobriety, especially early sobriety, like women don't know what they're feeling either, because we're being like replugged back in, and all of a sudden we're not numbing like we were for the past lifetime, And so all of these feelings, it's a lot, and it's a lot to process. It's a lot to handle.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time, like you even said it, it's easier just to say, I don't drink, rather than being like, all right, you ready to hear it? You want to know? But so yeah, I think that your story is super cool, and I'm super
Thank you.
happy
Yeah.
that
Thank
we,
you so much for
yeah,
being that. Like, thank you for being exactly who you are. I think it just really inspired us.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh well, thank you so much. I just like I said, I just want to be able to. I think people sharing. I think everybody should share their story to some point, at some point, and to some extent, just to be able to kind of show somebody that it's possible to grow and to be happy and to change and to just come at out of those bad habits. So, and I think as it goes for men in the sobriety space, yeah, like you said, there is men in the sobriety space, but I think a lot of those men go towards more. I've seen them, and like yeah, there's some that just do present the facts and everything, but a lot of them lean more towards like kind of coaching. And I've had a few who kind of approach me trying to get me to sell like dating coach packets or something. And I'm just like, dude, like this is not. They start in sobriety and then they try to sway more towards, you know, try to get rich quick and how to get
Mm.
tank. It's like they lean more towards like the red pill content, and it's like
Hmm.
they they lose the plot. And I think, like you guys said, emotion is a big key, and we're human. So I mean, not to portray yourself to not have emotions, it's kind of crazy. So um, we're human. Everybody has emotions. So, and especially in sobriety, yeah, there's a lot of emotions. So, and I'm not afraid to show my emotions. So
Yeah.
I want to be able to show that anybody that it's okay to show and to feel, because we all feel it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and living out loud, I think is in our lives, and I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but like people that I never thought would ever stop drinking just because of watching me for a couple years have been like, actually, is there something there? or like, kind of what happened to you. We are planting a seed in someone's mind that we're like, no, 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 that's not going to be me. I'm not going to do that right now. And then one day it's like, well, actually, am I going to create content for sobriety? Like all of a sudden this person is like, actually, I've seen and I've witnessed so and so and so and so. So maybe it is a possibility for me. And I think that like to do that in an authentic way is the best way to do this. The most efficient way to do that is just living yourself like the loudest way possible. You do it well.
Yes.
I can. I'm going to continue to do it. Hopefully, So it's been hard being away. I've been so out of touch with everything in the U.S. And so it's hard to, because most of the audience is up at completely different times. So I mean, it's like it's been hard.
Yes.
I used to have a podcast too, and things. It's been a very tough transition out here, and I also tore my Achilles back in March.
Wow.
So it's been tough out here, So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm recovering. I'm walking again, but
Yeah.
it's jumping or playing soccer and football, or they call it out here. So yeah.
Training for the World Cup.
Yeah.
I meet the British out here, like, oh, why aren't you back in the States? The World Cup's there. And it's like, well, I got obligations here. So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's okay. I know the time difference is probably necessary for your business, but it's probably nice to be out of touch with the United States for a while right now. I mean, it's probably
Place is crazy.
a little bit of a vacation.
No.
But I am wondering, like, what's next? And, obviously Unhinged Sanity is going to continue to pump out like the most incredible content, and we're serious. Go read it, go binge the page because you will see so much cool stuff and so many thoughtful questions. But what else do you have planned, or what else would you like to share with us?
I mean, there was a couple things that I wanted to do before I came out here. But I think when I get back, one thing that I really want to do is I want to start doing like sobriety days or sober days.
Hmm.
And I think people of all ages, the community, it's just a place and a time where everybody can get together, eat good, work out, play games, and just enjoy each other's company sober. And I want to start doing that. I want to do more in person things. As for content, I'm gonna just keep pushing content out, and I want to get back into doing long form content like podcasts or YouTube and things like that. But I think my life is, I mean, that's an excuse, to be honest. I was gonna say my life's too all over the place to start anything, but I could really start today if I really wanted to. Um, but no, I think it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm gonna just continue doing
Hmm.
what I'm doing and just see what happens. I have plans to at least get back and start, hopefully to start doing more in person things. So I think that's what's next and what I want for the brand. So just being out there in the flesh with people and just spreading positivity. So that's all I'm trying to do.
Well, that sounds amazing. Count us in.
Yeah, let us know. We'll have a Moxcated meetup.
Yes, we will RSVP as soon as you send us the invites.
I was just in the Midwest. It's beautiful. The fireflies or lightning bugs. I always say it wrong. My kids just saw them for the first time. It was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have those in New Mexico.
You just have
What?
Really hot there right now, isn't it? New Mexico?
I was in Bloomington, Indiana, and also Hobart, Indiana. So like right outside of Chicago, which is funny because you can drive like an hour and you hit like Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois all at once. I'm like, we're world travelers now. No. But
Where,
yeah.
where I live in Michigan, I actually live like 90 miles from Chicago. So I
Oh
mean, I go
yeah.
to Chicago quite often. It's like, so Michigan is like the size of like a mitten, or it's
Yeah.
shaped like a mitten.
Yeah.
And yeah, right, like right there.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yes.
Indiana.
Well, and two, we've got a lot of sober women out there.
In
Some
Chicago,
some
yep.
big hitters. So when you get back, let us know. We'll hook you up.
I am also a Chicago. I know you're from Michigan, but I am a Chicago sports fan through and through. I go to Chicago at least once a year. You'd never have to twist my arm to head over
But
there.
yeah, no, there's
Um,
big moves happening out
yes.
there. There's a big sober community being in the works kind of on its own. It's like
Yeah.
when you stop trying so hard, things just kind of come together. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Chicago actually that are starting to do some things like, and I've seen them while I've been out here, and I've been thinking, oh man, like I wish I was back so I can go to these things. So yeah, I mean I've seen Chicago kind of popping off a little bit with the sobriety content,
Yeah.
the sober. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. When I get
Yeah.
back. So
Yay. Well, like you said, everything happens for a reason. From the Achilles tear to where you're at right now, it's just preparing your way for whatever is coming. And we are so excited that we get to watch and we get to call you our friend now.
Yes, we're officially
We're
friends.
friends. And yes, we would love to visit you and just thank you so much, seriously, for everything you do. Your voice is so important. And the things that you say are so beautifully said and really need to be heard. So I just really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you for showing up in this space and showing up vulnerable and putting yourself out there. Your voice is so needed, and I'm glad you started sharing it. So thank you so much, T.
Yes, and two, like you're inspiring so many men, especially. I truly do believe that your content like shows a real man like being open and that connection and all of that. So just keep
Yes.
doing what you're doing. It's awesome.
y'all make it blush over here.
Yes, please. That's what we're about. Make you blush. Well, thank you again so much. You can find T on Unhinged Sanity. Go, like I said, go binge his page, go binge his reels. We'll tag him in our post. And just thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. I know that our listeners really got a lot out of this episode. We love you, babes.
Talk soon.